After 2.5 years of civil war in Sudan, there are potential signs of hope. The Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, have agreed to a U.S.-backed ceasefire. The war between the RSF and the Sudanese Armed Forces has created what the UN describes as the largest humanitarian crisis in the world. Thousands of civilians have been killed and millions are facing severe hunger and famine. It's unclear if the Sudanese Armed Forces will also agree to the ceasefire. Both sides have agreed to various proposals since the war broke out in April of 2023, though none have held. Ciarán Donnelly joins us now. He is a senior vice president for international programs at the International Rescue Committee. Thanks for being here. Can you tell us more of how dire the situation is there?
Thanks for having me on, Lindsay. The situation in Sudan is absolutely desperate, and particularly so in Darfur, which has become the epicenter of humanitarian need in this crisis over recent months and especially in the last weeks. Across Sudan, there are 24 million people, nearly half the population, in need, living in acute food insecurity, not enough food to eat. 14 million people are displaced. In Darfur itself, and particularly in the area around Al-Fashir, which has seen the most intense fighting over recent weeks, about 800,000 people have fled from the city of Al-Fashir to locations just a few miles up the road. About 800,000 people in very crowded displacement conditions, in desperate need of food, of water, of healthcare, specialized services for women and children. Many of them have been assaulted, sexually assaulted in transit. Humanitarian agencies on the ground, my team reports that they think there's only enough capacity to meet about half of the needs of those people. Incredibly worrying are the 200,000 people who remain trapped in Al-Fashir, to whom we have no access. There's no humanitarian aid getting into Al-Fashir, and there are very disturbing reports of potential mass executions and other civilian violations happening inside the city.
How optimistic are you about this potential ceasefire?
It's hard to say, but we have to hope that something will come of it. I do think it's important to underscore that every minute that we don't have a ceasefire and that we don't have a humanitarian surge in assistance is a minute in which people's lives continue to be at risk. People continue to die and suffer. It's also important to underscore that right now, the worst of the fighting has actually stopped between the two sides. So the ceasefire is important in laying conditions for a pathway to hopefully a longer-term cessation of hostilities. But right now what's needed is safe passage for civilians to be able to evacuate from Al-Fashir, of course, a halt to any attacks against those civilians or against aid workers, and a rapid and massive increase in humanitarian access for agencies and support to humanitarian actors like the IRC on the ground, including funding from the international community, while they also put political pressure on the parties to the conflict.
Ciarán Donnelly with the International Rescue Committee, thank you for your time on this important subject, sir.
Thank you.